Okay, well, hello. It's week 6. Hard to believe it's already been 6 weeks of English 333. So this is our orientation stuff for the week. It's actually kind of a lighter week uh, than most, and part of that is just because you've been working on a project that was probably relatively time-consuming and things. So it's a nice time to sort of debrief that a little bit. And it's just a transition week, so there are only 2 tasks that I'm asking you to complete this week. So the first one is yet another blog entry. I know that you're probably, I've done a lot of those already. Well, you keep doing them. That's what's going to happen this semester. So this time, it's your blog topic is to anti-reify your multimodal document. Now, reification is a notion that comes actually from certain branches of literary criticism, literary theory, social/cultural theory, and essentially what it usually entails is the objectification of something. So when I look at and view your multimodal documents, what's happened is that all of the work that you did over the past several weeks to create those things, and it involved gathering materials, it involved playing around with technology stuff, it involved writing and revising a script, it involved recording and editing, all these kinds of things that you were doing. Those disappear when I look at just a final project. Okay? The project exists on its own as if none of the work that you did to create it happened. So your blog entry this week is to anti-reify that. That is to tell me all the things that went into your multimodal document. The challenges that you faced, the troubles that you had, the obstacles you overcame, the fun that you might have had, the things that you wish could have been in but couldn't figure out how to do, all those kinds of things. The things that will help me to see the document more clearly. Okay? Included in that might be something like thinking about the ways that the ideas within the document are representative of the ideas that we've been kicking around in class. So, how clearly did you talk about James G? Is it, something that is there explicitly that you reference him, or are there times where you're really talking about his ideas but you don't reference them directly, but you can talk about them here now? So that's what this blog entry is really about. And I'd like you to be really thoughtful about that, because it will help me as I view your multimodal documents and respond to them. Okay. So I'd also like you at the same, not at the same time, obviously, but I'd like you to be checking on some other people's weblogs and see what they had to say about their processes, and make a comment or two to some of the others in class, especially where you see them talking about something that resonates with you, like you're going, "Oh yeah, I did that too," that sort of thing. Okay. So that's the first task. Second task. This one is, I think simpler. We're going to be doing work next on an inquiry into the teaching of writing. How does writing get taught? What does research say about the teaching of writing? What effective practices are? What kinds of things we should, encourage in a classroom? What sorts of things engage students? That sort of thing. Okay. And as part of our work in that, we're going to be reading a whole bunch of different things. And the reading is going to be divided up among different people in the class so that not everyone is reading everything. But I want you to sort of be aware of all the things that are out there and available right now. So what that means is that we're going to have to be reading and sharing what we're reading. And so we're going to use an online technology as a way to share our information. We're going to be using a wiki. And you probably all know what a wiki is already, but I have linked to screencast by a guy named John Udell at InfoWorld, who did a really cool analysis of a wiki article, one in Wikipedia that's on the heavy metal umlaut, and it's a really fascinating thing to watch. But it shows how collaborative writing can happen in a way that's effective, and that's sort of community-based, or at least based on shared knowledge or shared objectives. So watch that. And then there's a link to the course's wiki site. And that's hosted by SeedWiki. And I'd like you to create an account there. You don't have to, technically, because you can do the assignments that I'll give you without creating the account. The advantages of creating an account and being logged in whenever you use it is that you will have, anytime you make changes to the wiki, you will it will automatically record that you made the changes, not somebody else. So you'll get, the credit for whatever the things are that you're doing. Otherwise, you have to sort of work a little bit to make sure that your work is identified as your work. That will make more sense once you go in there and start to sort of fool around a little bit. So, so there's a link to our wiki, and what I'm asking you to do for this week is really quite simple, and that's just there's a story started there, and what I want you to do is go in and edit that story. I want you to make at least a couple of changes to what's already written, because collaborative writing means that something doesn't belong to you; it belongs to the group. So you can change whatever you want. So you got to go in and make a few changes, and you got to go make a few additions. So depending on whether you do this, the very beginning of the week or toward the end of the week, the story that you come across might be just a few sentences long, or it might be a few pages long. But so you're going to read it, edit it, and make some changes to it. The processes for that are explained both in words and then in pictures on the assignment sheet for this week. So it's pretty straightforward. It's not a hard thing to do. But that will prep us for some work that we'll be doing in small groups, starting next week and continuing after spring break. So I guess the final thing that I should say is that the multimodal documents, as you're turning those in, I'll be reading those and responding to those and getting back to you as quickly as I can with my responses. It's quite likely that I will give you, I haven't decided for sure how I'm responding to you, but I will give you back some sort of a numeric rubric that tells you, gives you points for certain kinds of attributes of it. But also probably I'll give you a link to a private YouTube video that I'll just record and say, oh, this is what I think. So sort of like this kind of a thing, but it would only be visible to you. Anyway, that's what you can be looking forward to. I do have a fairly tight schedule for this week, week 6. So it's likely that you will not get your multimodal documents responded to and back until week 7, or even until after spring break. I hate to wait that long, but just so that you're not too anxious about it, just to let you know. So if you have questions about stuff, be sure and let me know, and I'll be happy to get back to you as soon as I can. So just let me know.